Our next guest here, Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals, joining us on FT Live. Ryan, how you doing? There's a full-on battle going on between these two about their pitching performances. So, for any of your position player teammates that have ever pitched, do you feel like they get a little cocky if they put together 3 outs on a mound and they don't give anything up?
Yeah, they make it seem like it's the easiest thing in the world, and they give the pitcher all kinds of crap. Like why is it so hard to throw strikes? One in particular is Andrew Kisner. He has one of the 0.0 ERAs, and he talks about it all the time, and he likes to make a joke about it.
Yeah, but there's a difference between throwing one inning like Todd did and getting a strikeout. I got 7 innings.
That's a lot.
Seven pro innings. Okay, so this game's easy.
Goes to show you that they didn't have much care for him if he got one taken off the shin or the stomach or anything. They took care of me. They said, "Well, wait till your last year you're playing. We don't want you to get hurt." We didn't care.
I mean, I didn't need you to tell me that.
Austin Hedges pitched what? 2 outings.
2 days in a row.
2 days in a row the other day. That's true. What was your ERA?
I don't know. Like a 4?
0 for me.
0.
Better than Ryan's. Just saying.
Better than everyone's. You can't do better than Todd.
He threw 102 the other day. You guys aren't even on the same universe. 102.
That's pretty darn good.
Ryan, how you doing, man? So first off, how you doing? How's the arm feeling?
Yeah, it's feeling a lot better. It was kind of a long recovery process, and feels good to get back out there and kind of get back in the swing of things. And we have about 20 games left, so hopefully get some good work in, and feel good about going into the offseason.
Hey, we were talking about Tommy John surgeries. We're talking about, Strasburg being hurt.
Buehler.
No, but I know. I was getting on to Buehler. But, yeah. We talked about him trying to make a comeback this year after getting his second Tommy John. You know better. I don't know if you've ever had Tommy John surgery. I don't want to speak out of place, but I guess not. But coming back from injury, man, it's a touchy subject. You want to be 100%. Especially with arbitration, as Kratzy brought up coming up. Is there big conversations? What goes on through that whole process injury-wise?
Yeah, for sure. You're trying to be healthy and not, push through anything and make things worse. And, I feel like pitching is a lot different than a position player. Obviously, I've never played every day like a lot of these guys do, but, the smallest things can, affect a pitcher and, how things feel and how you recover. And coming back from injury, things might not feel quite right and feel the same like they did pre-injury. You're stressing new tissue again, and like Buehler, he's got a new ligament. It's never been stressed like that before, and even the AAA outing is a lot different than the big leagues, and the stress levels are a lot different. So I think it's smart on his part. It's the second time he's had it before, so he knows what he's looking for and what he wants to feel like.
Is it different when you get hurt at the beginning of your career and you're still trying to establish yourself till now where you're more established, you're getting significant innings and you're a big piece of the bullpen?
I don't know. I think I would probably try to approach it the same way. You don't want to push through a small injury and compounding it and making it worse, and then it turns into something big. And that's kind of the way I looked at it this year. I didn't want to come back in a month, and then possibly have a worse injury, maybe miss the rest of the year and maybe all of next year. So just wanted to take a couple extra weeks and really listen to my body and make sure I was feeling well and, and trying to end the season on a good note.
Ryan, what kind of conversations go on between a pitcher, the medical staff, the front office, the coaching staff, etc., to try to talk through, helping us out through what, say, Walker Buehler just would have gone through, right? Where you figure out, hey, this is when we think you should actually get back on a mound in the minor leagues. This is our plan going forward. Can you kind of take us behind the curtain as much as you're able to on what the communication process is and how everyone figures that out together, so we can also determine, did they get to a point where they said, okay, we're going to try this out. Let's see how you feel. Even if you're not hurt, if it doesn't feel right, let's just stop it because you're coming back on the shorter side. He is from his second Tommy John.
Yeah, it's an ongoing conversation daily. Coming back from the injury, you can feel good one day and then, not feel so good the next two. It's kind of weird, you're coming back and really just trying to listen to your body and pay attention, and, the Cardinals did a great job of, having that dialogue day in and day out and, really wanting to cater to, my injury and the things that I needed to bounce back. And, it's different too once you start games. It's a whole different stress level than, long toss or even just throwing a bullpen. And, that's kind of what I ran into once I got to games. I was taking 2 to 3 days to feel somewhat normal again. And just that stress level was so much higher than I had, been used to for 2.5, 3 months. And, finally the last couple of weeks, my body's done a lot better responding. And so I think that's the biggest key, is just having your body respond quickly in the way it needs to. And obviously everybody's body's different and responds and heals in a different way. So that's the tough part. I feel like, a lot of players and medical staff face is, everybody's different. Everybody's got their own timeline. And I think it's important that everybody, can kind of follow their own pace.
Hey, heard you have a twin brother named Kyle. I thought that was pretty cool. We're looking that up and talking. How was he as an athlete? Was there battles when you guys were younger? I would love to know, because I got thrown through some walls with my brother. So does he think he's a better athlete than you, or no?
Oh, yeah. I mean, growing up, we definitely competed, in the driveway playing basketball, or, we had a game we called Set Hut, and basically 1v1s in the yard, my dad throwing the pass. And there's definitely some snot bubbles and crying and, knockdown, drag out fights out there. You never want to lose, especially to your brother. But it was cool. And having a brother growing up, having a twin, we were together for 18 years until we both went to different colleges, and we played 3 sports together all throughout high school. And that was really cool to always have, a twin right next to you through all that.
All right, now we'll take it to your older brother, Wayno, and his pursuit, or maybe you see him as more of like a dad or uncle. I'm not sure what that relationship is. What do you think? Dad, uncle, or older brother?
Probably a combination of the two. He's definitely like the father figure of the, of the team. He leads us in everything we do. And, like you said, trying to get to 200, it's been kind of crazy. But I mean, I think Wayno's so close, you can feel it. And it's like, I think his mindset is if it happens, it happens. I don't really think he's stressing too much about it. Obviously he cares about it, wants it to really happen. We all do for him, and hopefully it does. The clock's ticking here, so we'll see what happens.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. 200, it's a big number. He's 2 away. So I'm going to paint the scenario for you. September 27th, you come out on the mound, you guys are winning 6-5, and you're in the game, and this is for his 200th win, and it's his W. How much pressure do you feel? Is that something that is really going to be like, wow, like get you going playoff atmosphere?
I don't know, I mean, I haven't really thought about that, and try not to look too far ahead, especially being in the bullpen. Just try to take it one day at a time. I try not to make too much out of the thing. Obviously it'd be a big deal for him. And, looking back on it, there's probably been 20 or 30 games in his career where he could have a win, where guys have blown it. So, I mean, just trying not to make too big of a deal about it, and just try to take the same approach. Just go out there and try to do my job one pitch at a time, like I have the last 150 plus times I've done in the big leagues.
You guys are wrong, though, about brother, cousin, uncle. His nickname's Uncle Charlie. He's obviously your uncle.
Oh, that's true.
No?
It's because of his pitch. That's not now.
I know, but it all kind of blends
all
together
depends.
when you're he could be like the weird uncle.
He's been
Uncles buy you, not the weird uncle. You don't want the weird uncle in the clubhouse. Not where you're showering.
Not that kind of weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Touche.
You get like uncle if he's buying him his gifts. If he's buying Ryan
Cool
gifts,
uncle.
then he's a cool uncle.
Cool uncle.
If he's an older brother, he might leave like a little hot foot for him.
Well, that's a good question. Anybody ever buy you a gift when you first came up?
Yeah, Wayno actually bought me. So in spring training, there's guys that come around that make custom suits and stuff, and he bought me 2. I think one in 2020 and one in 21. And he usually does that every year. I mean, there's probably anywhere from 3 to 5, 7 guys he buys suits for every year, which I think is really cool. And we're probably one of the few teams that actually wear suits and jackets when we travel still on the road. So I think that's really cool that he does that. Making sure guys, have a nice wardrobe when they come up here.
All right, so what's going to be your thing, right? You keep rolling along. You make the big bucks and the bigs. Are you going to have a go-to? Like you give everybody – Kratz is always trying to come up with this. You give everybody some gift when they first come up to the bigs, or you take them for a meal, or you do something, at least with like a fellow bullpen dude because you've been there. Do you have anything in mind that you would want to do, both gift-wise and also just, anything that you do with any rookie that comes up to the show and is like, hey, dude, I know – I don't throw 102, but I'd like to be in the league like you have for years now.
Yeah, I think just, dinners for sure. Hopefully I can do that and take the bullpen out, a couple times a year. And, just we have a thing too where, we made goals early in the year. It was in our Bible study group, just like when you're on the road, because you have more time on the road, try to not eat breakfast alone. That way, you build that relationship and that bond with your teammates, and because that stuff can go a long way, in the season when it's 8 months long, and you're trying to make a push in October.
Awesome. So we've been looking up some stuff on you because I'm always intrigued about where people come from. You went to Sequoia High School, Old Gym, which is an all Native American high school. First player to reach the majors from that high school. So is there like a monster collage when you walk into that high school? Like, this is our guy, man. He did it, And you also go back there and help students and ancestors go back to Trail of Tears, man. Talk to us about all that stuff.
Yeah, man, it's really cool and really special, to be from there and, to be Native American. When I was in high school, there's people from all over the country, but before that, 10, 20 years before, it's technically considered a boarding school. And there was kids literally from all over the country that would live there on campus in the dorms. So it's really cool to be there and see, a lot of kids from all over the country and, the different, heritage and stuff that come with it. And just being there, going back and helping those kids, it was really special. I haven't done it in a couple of years, and feel like once you have a family and get to the big leagues, your life starts to speed up and the off season's almost more busy than, during the season. So, but I do go back, try to watch a football game or, just go show my face. And they actually have a little bit of like a showcase, I guess, in the new gym. They have, I don't know exactly what they have, maybe a pair of cleats and a jersey and stuff like that. But, it's really cool to go back and, kind of see that and where I've come from. And we've had a quarterback make it to the NFL. His name's Nate Stanley. And we had a girl make it to the WNBA. She,
nice.
Angel Goodrich. Yeah. We've had a couple people make it pretty far and, so that's been cool to be a part of that.
Iowa.
Love it.
Right? Stanley went to Iowa?
He went to Ole Miss. And then I think he got drafted by the Ravens maybe. I don't know how much time he had in the NFL, but he went to Ole Miss out of high school.
Nice. All right, I got a question for you. Back to Cardinal stuff, okay? So obviously we know this team's not a playoff team for the first time in a long time this year. So it's a different role for the Cardinals, just like we're seeing this with the Yankees right now, right? It's a team that's in the playoffs every year. So I think about two things for a team that hasn't been in this spot in a long time. Number one, you get to see how some young guys are doing, right? Like right now, Mason Wynn getting some time in the show, and not sure if he'd be up in a normal situation or not, but like you get to see, hey, let's see what you got for a month. So how is that for some of the young guys where you don't have to be so focused on every single, obviously you want to win the games, but it's not all about winning. It's also about setting yourselves up for next year. And then how does that pair with the fun of playing spoiler and having like a little bit off your shoulders right now? You're not in a total battle for a wild card or a division right now. You could be like, oh, Cincinnati coming to town with your young squad. Let's ruin your life for a few days.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's the big league, so every day is important. And no matter what your record is, you're trying to go out there and compete and win and do your job. But, yeah, I mean, we have some good teams coming up down the stretch. A lot of teams making a playoff push. And, I think we approach all those games just like we do every game, starting the year just like we are now, is trying to win and go out there and compete. And, seeing the young guys has been cool, just trying to be somewhat of a leader now. This is my 5th season, so not really a veteran, but, I've been around for a few years. So just trying to be someone that, the young guys in the bullpen or even position players can come to and feel like they can talk to, because, it's a long season and it can be very intimidating your first, couple of years until you really feel like you've established yourself and feel like you belong. So just trying to help those guys any way I can. And, it's been fun watching Jordan Walker, grow this year, and, some of the other guys too get their chance. And, I think it's great for them to come up, the last 20 games and just have fun and hang loose, see what they're capable of, and, go out there and just attack each day and, make the most of the opportunity.
I need you to be real with this next answer. You're not giving anything away. You're not softer. What's the best team? Who's the best team in the Central that you think is the best?
Pitching wise, I think it's the Brewers. They've probably had one of the better pitching staffs, starters for sure, and their bullpen's been great all year too. Lineup wise, I would probably say the Cubs. I would say they're probably, well, besides ours, our lineup's great. Our pitching just hasn't been good. I'd probably actually say our lineup's the best lineup in the Central. But yeah, we've just been able to click on all cylinders this year. And, starting the year, we thought we were going to be one of those teams pushing in October, and obviously hasn't worked out that way.
Ryan, question for you about some of the toughest hitters that you've faced this year. Let's first start with the division. Like, are there guys on, say, the playoff contenders like the Reds and the Cubs that have really stood out to you that you think could like kind of make a name for themselves in the playoffs? I mean, they're two different teams too. The Cubs are definitely a more veteran squad, especially with their position players, right? Like, I'm sure you've seen what Bellinger has done this year, where with Cincinnati, it's like almost all rookies. And I'm 99% sure they have the youngest average age on their position players. Kratz is shaking his head. He's my stats guy.
Yeah, I mean, the Cubs, more veteran group, and, guys like Dansby, I've faced him a few times, and, he's got a couple of hits off me, and he's probably one of the better hitters on the Cubs guy that's, tough out always, a good fastball hitter. With the Reds, there's a couple of guys, Tyler Stevenson and like Jonathan India, they've had some success off of me. But a lot of other guys, they're younger. I haven't faced a whole lot. They're young, and I feel like that's kind of injected, life into their lineup and their team. And, they've just played hard all year, and, they like to create havoc on the base pass. And they actually have a really good bullpen too. So I think that, it's been a big year for them, and, it'll be an exciting series here this weekend.
All right, question for you that we want to start mixing into a lot of our regulars on FT. What was your welcome to the big leagues moment? You could go wherever you want to go here. It could just be like walking in the clubhouse and seeing whoever, some big veteran on your team, right? It could be someone you faced. Was there one moment where you're like, all right, I'm in. This is it?
Yeah, probably just on my debut, honestly, like you said, walking into the clubhouse and, seeing what a big league clubhouse looked like. And I actually ended up pitching that night too in Milwaukee, and came in with one guy on second, or maybe two, I don't remember, but I faced Yelich, and that was the year he was like, started the year off with like 12 homers in like the first 12 games, and he actually ended up hitting the homer off of me too. Got him 0-2, and he put together a good at bat, and ended up clipping me there, and ended up pitching well after that. But that was probably like, all right, this is the big leagues. You got to make better pitches when you're ahead 0-2. So,
what about was there like a moment where I guess closer was later. When did you pick up your first save?
I think 2020 season, the shortened season. So it was my second year. Yeah. I would say that like when I felt like I started to belong a little bit, it was probably playoffs in 19. Most of the year that in 19, I was kind of the long guy. I was built up as a starter to start the year. And then when I come out of the bullpen during the regular season, it's mostly, getting 3+ outs, cover some innings, pick up the team. Then the playoffs came around and started throwing really well. I don't remember how many innings I threw, 6 or 7, but I don't think I gave up a hit. And, and that was kind of proof to myself that, all right, I can really pitch at this level, and at a high level and contribute. I'm pitching in these big playoff games, and at the end of the day, just telling myself, it's no different than any other game. It's just got, higher implications, obviously, and you're trying to compete for a World Series, but just trying to simplify things and, telling yourself it's the same game and not trying to, make it too big than it is.
All right, so you have Mason Wynn, super prospect, bazooka for an arm, probably throws harder than you, but don't worry about it. Don't be jealous. Don't be jealous.
Ryan,
don't be
you
jealous.
Can fight that back.
Don't fight back. Is the man good on the mic, and has he been up on the front of the bus more than once?
I don't think we've actually had him up. I mean, this is my first road trip in 3 months, and he was up probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. He might have sang already, but I haven't heard any stories about it. I doubt he has. So we still have about 6 games on this road trip, so I'm sure we'll get our fair share of some rookies on the mic coming up.
And will he get dressed up, or has that been ixnayed on the Cardinals?
No, I think when we go to San Diego, they're going to do some kind of dress up and have all the rookies do their thing. I haven't heard what it is. It's usually like the veteran guys like Michaelis or Wayno who decide on what goes on there.
Ryan, in like 5 years, let's say you guys are in like the World Series and there's a rain delay, like there's the Jason Hayward moment where he brings in the squad in the clubhouse. Who do you think that'll be out of this position player group right now? Is there somebody that stands out? Like, is Walker a talker? Is Mason Wynn like that? You know, like projecting forward, you got to count out like Goldie's too old. Sorry, I would tell him, but like I'm trying to go further down the line, right? Like years down the line of the new group. Who's the guy that you think? It doesn't have to be. I don't need you to project like who's going to be best. I want to know like in the locker room who's going to command it.
The leader.
I mean, maybe Nootbaar. He's pretty good with that kind of stuff. I mean, I think you saw it in the World Baseball Classic, hyping the dudes up in the dugout, and you know he's pretty good with like speaking and rah rah and stuff like that. So I could definitely see Noot being that type of guy going forward.
Noot's an international
everywhere.
superstar.
He's everywhere right now. He's really built his brand. He's no Ohtani built his brand, but Noot's built his brand.
He leveraged Ohtani, which is fine.
That's fair.
Also, I mean, not just leveraged.
He was Ohtani's wingman.
He got to hang out with him. And the WBC, not only did his team win, but the attention, it's a bigger deal in Japan than it is here, period. Right?
Right now.
They had, I think, better than Super Bowl numbers for the WBC, right?
Oh, it was something like crazy. One of the games was like 93% of households.
That's insane.
It was insane that we're watching it. That had TVs. We're watching the Japan finals, the finals against the U.S.
Do you notice anything different this year with Noot because of that? I'm not saying with you guys. I'm saying, like, are there more fans coming up to him? Especially, like, let's say there's international fans that know about him from the WBC. Also, is he walking around like, yeah, maybe I don't have a 000 ERA, but, like, I got more followers than everyone here?
Yeah, so we used to have this thing last year in 22 where, I mean, we were neck and neck in followers. I think I have like in the mid 30,000 followers, and he was right ahead of me, and we'd go back and forth. And then when he left for the World Baseball Classic, he sent me a screenshot of his followers, and he had like 600,000 at this point. And then he's like, "Dude, you got no chance now." So I was like, "Yeah, I'm just gonna hang him up. I got no chance now. I'm never catching you." And I think he's over 1 million now, and I mean, he's the same guy. And I remember in Boston there was quite a few fans there, and I don't remember where else, but there was a lot of Noot fans, which is really cool to see. And it's crazy to see how quick social media can help you build your brand, and how far you go with that.
Can we help him? Like, is there something that we can do? Like, you're in the Foul Territory fam. One of our first ever interviews. We have you throughout the year. Like, we're starting to get some love. Like, if you combine everything we got, we probably are, I would say, about 100,000 followers between TikTok, YouTube, IG, all that kind of stuff. Like, is there anything that we can do to be helpful? Like putting clips out there, or like sharing something crazy? Like, how can we help you catch up to Noot besides obviously, being Ohtani's wingman?
Yeah, I don't think I have a fighting chance in that one, no matter what we do. I'm not much of a social media presence anyway. I don't really care too much about it. I've had it since it came out, since I was in high school, and just try to use it and make the most of it when I can.
All right, well, we're gonna try. We'll think of something.
We'll help.
Todd's got some homework.
You might have to run out of the bullpen like with your boxers and jersey on, something like that, and that'll
viral.
Go viral. That might work.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. Trip on purpose when you come out for the opening day announcement.
Don't do that either.
Don't do that.
He doesn't need $2,000.
Look that up. Right, exactly. $2,000. How about 2.7 something million?
That's what he needs. He needs more views.
Yeah. All right. Well, Ryan, we'll keep working on it, and we'll check back in a few weeks and see what we come up with for you. Okay.
Cool. Sounds good.
Cheers, man. Keep doing your thing. We'll talk to you soon. All right.
All right. I'll see y'all.
Okay. See you soon. Ryan Helsley of the St. Louis Cardinals joining us on FT Live.